Happy, what is today? Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. Um, so I I had mentioned obviously that my mother is a narcissist, and I'm not sure if I had mentioned in any of the other videos that my ex-husband is actually a narcissist as well. Um, so I I spent the first 26 years of my life surrounded by narcissistic people. And I mean, my mother was a narcissist, or is a narcissist. My ex husband was a narcissist. So when I got out of my mother's home, I went from one bad situation to another. But I didn't know, because I didn't know enough about narcissism to realize that there was actually something wrong in my family. So just a couple days ago, my ex husband texted my daughter to ask if she wanted to go to dinner. Little backstory: my daughter turned 15 at the beginning of January. So her birthday was literally about 2 weeks ago. And apparently, my ex husband sent her a text on her birthday. Um, I guess it just said happy birthday, or I honestly, I don't really know, because I didn't think about it till the other day. Did he even call on her birthday? He did not. He sent her a text. Um, but in the text message, he said I mean, I guess he said, happy birthday or whatever. Well, a few days ago, which would have been about 2 weeks after her birthday, he texted and he asked if she wanted to go to dinner, if her or her sister wanted to go to dinner, or out to lunch. It was Monday, because they were out of school. And she responded, she's just said that, she's actually kind of good at home. She wants to chill out for the day. No big deal. I don't force my kids to do things they don't want to do. There are some things they know they have to do, like going to school, going to work, things like that. You can't just decide you don't want to go to work. But you can decide, no, I don't want to go have dinner, or I don't want to go to lunch, or I don't want to do I don't want to just go to the park. Like, I give my kids the ability to say no, because when I was growing up, that was not allowed. You're going to do what you're told, whether you want to or not. And that was always because of how it made how it made my mom look to other people. It was always about what other people thought. And so there was so many times that I was basically voluntold that I was going to do this, that, or whatever. So I have always given my children the right to say no to things that they do not have to do, but people may want them to do. I want them to know that you have every right to say no. If something makes you uncomfortable, if it bothers you, you don't have to do it. I do not force my kids to do things that I know they do not have to do. And so that was the end of it. She told him she was good at home. She didn't want to go anywhere. End of. To be fair, it has probably been over 2 years since he has consistently seen my children anyway. In the last 2 years, or we'll go on last 3 years at this, since it's 2023 now, I can probably count on one hand how many times he's actually seen the girls. So it doesn't surprise me at all that she says, no, I don't want to go. That's fine I mean, whatever. I get it, So what ends up happening is later, my ex-husband calls my daughter, and while they're on the phone, I just happen to be coming downstairs. And I'm looking through stuff in the kitchen, which is right by our living room, and I can hear her father on the phone with her, and he's saying to her, I was going to take you, shopping or whatever, but you said you didn't want to go anywhere. And my first thought was, that's manipulation. And so I looked at my daughter and I kind of mouthed, he's trying to manipulate you. But she looked me dead in the eye and she said, I know, I can tell. I already know what he's trying to do. I have worked so hard with my kids on making sure that they read people and understand that just because somebody says something doesn't mean they mean it. And I was just very proud that my daughter recognized that she was at that moment being manipulated. Because when I was a kid, I didn't realize it. I remember very specifically as a child thinking, cleaning my room or cleaning the bathroom or doing something that I was supposed to do. I remember very specifically doing those things because I was supposed to do them, but maybe not to the standard that my mother would have wanted. And then hearing later, well, I was going to take you to a movie, or we were going to go do this, or we were going to go do that, but you did this wrong, so now you don't get that. which only forced me to want to be more of a pleaser. It made me want to do things better every time so that maybe I could get myself a reward. It wasn't until I became an adult that I realized none of those things were ever even planned. There was never a moment when she was actually going to take me to a movie or take me out to dinner or, let me buy something I want. That was never going to happen. She just saw an opportunity to make me feel like shit. And so she took it. So there was so many times that, I would clean up or try to do something right. And then only to hear, well, had you not done that or had you did this correctly, you'd be getting a prize. It wasn't until I was in my, 30s before I realized not at any point was she ever going to do any of those things. She needed me to be a people pleaser so that I would continue to try to please her. And in the process of trying to please her, I'm running myself ragged, trying to get an approval. And if I'm lucky, some kind of prize that I was never informed was even an option until after I had already failed at whatever I was told or not told I was supposed to do. And it's just so crazy to me because I remember my ex-husband even doing some of that with me during our marriage. Oh, I was going to do this, but you did that, so now we're not doing it. And in my head, I told myself, you got to do better if you want to be rewarded. Not realizing I don't have to do shit. I am already a decent person. I already do the things I'm supposed to do. Do I mess up every now and then? Of course. Everybody does. We're human. But the manipulating tactic of, if you were just better, you would get more stuff, constantly makes you think you're not good enough. It constantly makes you believe you have to do more. You have to accept more. You have to give more. And maybe you'll get a treat. Maybe you'll get rewarded in the end. And it just amazes me that narcissistic people all play the same game. Their tactics may change within the game, but they're all the same. My mother right now, I've not spoke to her for about, I think it's going on 2 weeks at this point. And when she does call, she'll ask, hey, do you want to go to dinner? Or do you want to go to lunch? Or let's do this. And I say no every time. And it's not because I'm trying to be mean to her. It's because I'm realizing very, very clearly here lately what the relationship between my mother is. And it just doesn't exist. And I'm realizing in my entire life, anytime she's ever been overly friendly or overly nice or trying to get me to join in on things, it's always when I am at a point where I'm not talking to her. It's always at a point where I've had enough and I just want to be left alone. And then she wants to be overly kind, which is the love bombing phase of narcissism. And because she's my mother, I can't just walk away like I could from my ex-husband. But even him, I had issues just walking away. I had to learn how to do that. It's so incredible to me. The more I take time to educate myself and to understand what's happening, that I realize how much fucked up shit I have endured my entire life because the people in my life didn't have their shit together. There is no reason why my grown mother should have ever been looking at me as her support system, but I specifically remember constantly having to assure her or constantly, making sure I'm doing everything perfect so that she's happy when she comes home. And it is just so crazy to me that probably a third of my life has been dedicated to people who never had the ability to love or appreciate or care about me, but had a great ability to make me feel like shit. It's so incredible. But I'm happy that I have taught my daughter what I've taught her. Because as soon as her dad started that, well, you said you didn't want to go anywhere, I was going to take you shopping, she knew what it was. And she didn't fall for it. And I'm here for that. Apparently, something else he did that actually did upset my daughter was he asked my other daughter if she wanted something, and she said no, she was good. She didn't want anything. And he said to her, well, I'm going to buy these shoes and you're going to wear them anyway. And immediately I thought about my mom. When I was a kid, it didn't matter what I wanted. It didn't matter what I liked. If she didn't like it, it was not important. If she didn't want to do it, it wasn't important. But she would always demand that I, wear certain things or dress a certain way or put on makeup because I'm a girl. I need to look like a girl. And I got tits. I'm going to look like a girl whether I want to or not. But it was the fact that who I was as myself wasn't enough for her. And to this day, still isn't. It is just, it's an incredible thing to realize. My ex-husband obviously is significantly younger than my mom, but plays the exact same games that she played when I was a kid, played the same games with me when I was married to him, and now he's doing it to my kids. And I can't allow that. I can't allow my kids to grow up the way that I did because I am 36 years old and I'm just now learning how to feel things for real. I'm just now learning that what I think is valid. I'm just now learning that I can have my own opinion. I can do what I want to do. And it's perfectly fine because it's completely natural to want to be an individual. I don't understand how all these people are so similar and have so much power still. Narcissists are fucking everywhere. And I mean, my family is full of them. The more I think about it, it's an incredible thing. The only thing I can do is make sure that I teach my kids to pay attention. And apparently it's working. Because my daughter 5 years ago never would have caught on to her dad saying something like that. And she probably would have went with him to keep him from being upset. But I am very adamant on teaching my kids that you are not responsible for other people's feelings. Nobody, not even mine. And I just hope that they continue to learn and they figure these things out faster and more efficiently than I did. I don't want my kids almost 40 years old just now realizing so many things about life because they were manipulated their whole life. I can't do it. I can't do it. So yeah, that is one of the manipulation tactics that I was extremely accustomed to as a child, is I was going to do this, but you did that, so now you don't get it. When in reality, no, you weren't. You hadn't even thought of it. You just saw an opportunity to make me feel bad, so you took it. And it's unbelievable. It created a people pleaser. And I spent so many years being a people pleaser. This shit is crazy. Some crazy, crazy shit.